come on. It wasn't like I was telling her anything I didn't want overheard. What are you blaming me for?
You are so irritating. Sit, boy. No good. I guess it only works when Kagome...
Jack here, and welcome back to the InuYasha vlogs. We are on another filler episode, and this one's kind of a nice one, actually. It's funny how, like, the later filler episodes become better than the old ones, because the old ones really dragged. This one is known as Only You, Sango, and is basically sort of it is a filler episode, but it's an episode that does involve Sango and Miroku, and does have something to kind of say regarding just storylines and stuff. Now, this won't be the only Sango Miroku filler episode we'll come across. There's going to be more down the line. We've seen a couple before. But this one's interesting. This isn't like... I mean, the last one we kind of had was where Miroku was, you know, proposed to some young girl years ago. She comes back, and that was a whole episode. But that was a while ago. That was actually back in Season 2. Now we're on Season 3, and now the opposite. The roles have reversed. Now it's regarding Sango. So, the episode opens, obviously, with a recap of what's happening, searching for the sacred jewel shards, which has been kind of off the radar for a bit, because we've been mostly focusing on Miroku and the Red Tetsaiga stuff, and, you know, all that stuff. Like, all that shit's been happening, but we haven't gotten back to the central point of the story, which is get the jewel shards before Miroku does. So, we see our heroes essentially kind of just doing their quest, the normal thing they usually do, when they're stumbled across by a village that has been attacked by a few demons, and, you know, obviously the lord of the castle goes to say, get me the demon slayer that can handle this, you'll know who she is. So, you're like, oh, she, okay. So, the knights, or the samurai, essentially find Sango and the group, and Kagome and everybody, and basically say, the lord of the castle wants you, Sango, to attend to slaying a demon, which, okay, yeah, cool, we'll get some money, that's their casual, ongoing job as they search for the shards. But it turns out that Sango's getting paid more and spoiled more than everybody else is in the group, and it turns out that the lord of the castle used to be a client of Sango's demon family tribe that slayed demons, and when he was a young kid, a young teenager, he actually did fall for Sango, seeing how she was in the heart of battle, and knew at that point, I want to marry this girl. You know, who hasn't thought that? But, basically he wants to propose to Sango and, you know, make that official, and I think there was some dealing with the dads about the arranged marriage as well. Again, this was the norm back in the feudal era. But, you know, Sango's kind of taken back, a little flattered, but on top of that, she's very reluctant if she wants to take it or not, even though she kind of did make a sort of promise about it. And she doesn't want to also hurt the guy's feelings. So, you gotta give credit to Sango that despite her being a tough-natured woman, despite her having goals and missions, that people she's bumped into in her past, she doesn't try to let down. She does try to be reasonable. So that is something to admire with a character. Most characters would be like, oh, fuck that, I fucking lied about that to get up and save my own skin. But this one, she is all the characters are very admirable. In fact, any character that's had a past regarding promises and stuff in this show, they do try to say, hey, I would've, but I have other top priorities that need to be taken care of first. During all this, Miroku is very disheartened, and he's very silent, very quiet, during the whole thing, kind of giving off signs to Sango saying, yeah, I don't like this, because I really care about you. And this is actually a great episode, too, because it did spark a few memes, it did spark a few iconic images. Season 3 has a lot of iconic images. The first one being sort of a present-day Sango and Miroku getting married at the church, which is really adorable. I remember seeing that on magazines, and the other being there's this dance that Kagome does where she's just doing this, and I remember back in, before YouTube, like, remember, there was a time before YouTube. There was a time before then. It was known as YTMND.com. It was a GIF website, and they had a bunch of InuYasha GIFs, and they had one with Kagome doing that dance, and they were playing, like, Harder, Better, Faster, Stronger, which was kind of cool, and, oh man, Daft Punk, why'd you split? Anyway, so she's thinking, I'm gonna get Miroku his groove back, and I'm gonna keep these guys together. She's basically Kagome's being Hitch in this episode, which I really love. And she's telling Miroku, no, come on, let's go have an adventure, let's go get your groove back. And episode ends with them slaying the demon, but it turns out it's the same demon as before that Sango's family slain, and it's because the Lord of the Castle thought, why should we purify and, cremate this demon, and why should we cremate this demon and basically, you know, get rid of it when we can market it and, you know, sell it. So basically the Lord of the Castle, like the guy's dad, like not the one that purposed Sango, but the dad, basically became the mayor from Jaws, like basically saying we should market on this monster thing. It's Carl Denham, which is hilarious. But that's why the demon came back. They didn't get rid of the corpse, and they decided to market it instead, and it didn't sell, and it came back, and that was the problem. So, episode ends, surprisingly very nicely with, you know, it's a rainy day, and they're all... It's funny, too, because, like, the last few days in Toronto, it's been raining as shit. But, basically, the group leaves, and you have Sango and Miroku kind of having a heartfelt moment, ending with the usual gag where Miroku touches her ass, and she slaps him, and it's flattering for once, actually. You can see sort of the tension there, but it ends kind of nicely. And one thing I will say about this episode, again, props to the people, the animation directors at Season 3. Put a lot of money into certain episodes where the animation is gorgeous. And in this one, much like the last one, the Panther Tribe trilogy, the animation's great in this episode, and in this one, it's not like the Cowboy Bebop-looking thing in the previous one. It's more so in this one very glowy and very rainy, and kind of a contrast between the rain and the fog, and it gives off some really great lighting and really great shots, creative shots in this episode, and you can feel really the emotion here. So again, I don't know who directed this, if somebody at like Studio Ghibli came in and took over for this episode as an animation director, but despite it being filler, it does have some nice moments, very quiet moments. There's a scene where Sango pretty much tells the Lord saying, look, I would love to marry you, you seem like a nice guy. But she's straight up honest with them saying, I have a war with this dude who's taken my brother captive. And she straight up is honest with him about it, and the guy's like, you know what? That's very noble of you, that's very respectful of you. You go do your thing. If you need anything, let me know. And I kind of like that this guy, this Lord isn't a bad guy, he isn't a demon in disguise, he's just a dude who really loved this woman, lets her go, but still essentially serves under her. He basically announces her as his queen, basically. So imagine if there was like an adaptation where there is a war. They've got a couple of men at their side. That's given that they have a bit of an army. We do establish in the show that the series does have armies and, like, where they can get forces and everything. So that's all good. But aside from that, yeah, this episode is filler. It doesn't really do much to the story other than more continue Sango and Miroku's relationship, but there's going to be more episodes like that down the line. It's not my favorite episode, but again, animation is nice, and you can get by it no problem. So I'm going to give this one about a 7 out of 10. It's not too bad. It's pretty fun. And it's just nicely animated. And, you know, sometimes the visuals can override the story in some little factions. So, again, guys, thank you so much for watching this InuYasha vlog. A little quick one, but we're going to get to a few more arcs down the line. Of course, don't forget to support our Patreon. Just $1 more will get you access to all of our content as well as other special features. And on top of that, let me know your thoughts about this episode in the comments section below. And all the money to our Patreon goes towards our potential InuYasha fan film project, as well as our show, and, you know, keep the lights on. So, until the next video, guys, like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys later. This is BigJackFilms signing off, saying, if you meet a nice guy, and you kind of can't marry him, I don't know, be respectful. Don't be so edgy or shit to each other. Just love each other. Until then, I will see you guys in the next vlog.